Welcome to Sustainable Life. In this show, we take a look into what it means to be a Bioneer.
Sustainability to me is just not living beyond your means and not living beyond the means of the environment around you. And there's many different ways you can accomplish that, if it's by organically, driving less, using alternate transportation, trying to buy your clothes from thrift stores or secondhand stores so they don't use new resources in order to make more clothing. And just trying to think about how you impact the environment and hopefully have more of a positive than a negative.
To me, sustainability means living in a way that protects the environment for those who come after me. And so I do what I can. I compost, I recycle, I do things like this. This is an empty toilet paper roll. It was sitting in there, and I thought, I can take that home and compost, and put it in to be recycled. That's really what it's about. It's about taking care of the earth so the earth can continue to take care of us. Because I really have a sense that if we don't do that, we're expendable. And that's not what I want. And I'm not just talking about my own family, I'm really talking about all those who come after me.
Paul, you're a volunteer at Bioneers. Tell me a little bit about how Bioneers is sustainable and what you do.
Being with Bioneers is to be around people with a positive energy who come together to celebrate different strategies and approaches for solving our Earth's problems, and how can we work together through biomimicry, through gardening, through different design strategies for industrial equipment, connecting to the people to come up with solutions. So,
well, give me some examples of how you're sustainable in your own personal life at home.
Well, I'm pretty much, I would say, Joe average. I'm a suburban guy. I'm from a middle-class family. I face a lot of the same problems other people, most middle-class people, I suppose, face. I've got a car and a house and got a little bit of a yard to deal with and manage. So, I don't always feel like I'm the most sustainable person on the planet, and I suffer that guilt. But I guess it's all about making small steps. And for me, I've changed my light bulbs to compact fluorescence. I've upgraded our boiler this last year to help reduce our costs on heating, and that certainly had an impact. I do a lot of canning. I try to buy locally produced goods and preserve that harvest. I enjoy doing that. And it keeps my food dollars here close to home. I guess I vote with my pocketbook is the expression. I'm a teacher, and I've been a teacher practicing teacher for about 7 or 8 years. And everywhere I've ever taught, I always end up leaving a garden. I've taught first and second grade, and it's just a magical experience to put kids back in touch with the earth. So I enjoy reconnecting kids and adults to where food comes from and planting gardens. So here in Cleveland, I've started a community garden at our church, which is the First Unitarian Church up in Shaker Heights, along with several other of the members. And we had 72 plots this year, 4x8 plots, and we've utilized 59 of those plots. So there's very definitely interest. And this is a patch of ground that's been grass for at least 25 years, maybe even longer than that. And we went from bare ground, wide open field to a pretty productive space. I think 12 to 14 of the plots we grew produce for the food bank through a program that the Extension, Ohio State University Extension, offers seedlings to various city and urban gardens through their Sprout program. We got 400 plants this spring, and we managed to get pretty much all 400 in the ground: eggplant, collard greens, 2 types of cabbages, bell peppers, tomatoes. Got all those in the ground and harvested them throughout the summer. I don't have an exact total, but I would say around 160 to 200 pounds of produce we were able to donate to the Cleveland Food Bank.
Do you see Bioneers as an extension of developing that community, and has it, in the last 3 years, has it grown?
I think so. We've, here with the Cleveland Bioneers, this year I was involved with local programming, co-chair of the local programming committee, so I got familiar with a lot of the names and the people involved here, and that gave me access to historical data. And I think we've probably involved over 200 professionals and lay people here in the community, Cleveland area, in Bioneers as being presenters or facilitators for tours. So it continues to spread. We've had a number of repeat people come through, some of whom I met 3 years ago now, first year, and it's really gratifying to continue to see them coming. And yet there's more new people. This year was the first year for what we called Sustainability Scholars Day, or Student Sustainability Day, on Thursday at the Convention Center, involving the STEM School, which is the Science, Technology, Engineering, Math School. It's a national organization, and we have one here in Cleveland, sponsored by GE. It was, I think, a very successful day. There was at least 350 to 400 students there on Thursday, coming from Columbus and all over the Northeast Ohio region. And that's a significant step forward from past participants here in Cleveland.
What would be your perception of why people resist this movement towards sustainability?
Well, we live in a capitalist society, and the dollar speaks volumes. It's the bottom line. And I think a lot of people perceive sustainability as an increased cost to their bottom line. To be sustainable means we're going to have to change our infrastructure. We're going to have to change the production line, or change our smokestack, and we're going to put in scrubbers or filters. So for the bean counters, the accountants in these firms, I think a lot of them look at that and say, you know, this is just too much cost. And I think that's the bottom line for a lot of people in their resistance. I think there's also maybe a latent image issue with sustainability. A lot of people maybe look at this as, oh, that's a hippie movement, or that's a tree hugger movement, and so there's been a lot of labeling in that way.
What is your definition of sustainability? What does it mean to you?
Right, it's a great question at this time, because sustainability is becoming a buzzword, and a lot of people are talking about it, and you hear it bantered around a lot. So what does that mean? And I've had to think about that myself. For me, it means something repeatable, something that we can continue to do into the future for many, many generations to come. And certainly I'm the beneficiary of a lot of unsustainable practices. So to be sustainable sometimes feels like it's counter to the way I was raised. It's meaning to be sustainable means you're going to have to be conscious. You're going to have to wake up and say, what am I doing that I can't continue to do? What am I benefiting from that's just not sustainable?